stick, not to stick? That is the question. Answer, only stick if they're Post-it sticky notes. Sticky notes, or Post-it notes as they're sometimes called, were invented in 1968 by a man named Dr. Spencer Silver, a chemist at 3M in the United States. What he described them as were low-tack, pressure-sensitive, adhesive notes. For 5 years, Dr. Spencer promoted his invention both informally and formally through seminars. Unfortunately, the trend didn't catch on. However, in 1974, Dr. Silver's colleague, Art Fry, began using the adhesive to anchor one of his bookmark to his hymn book. 3M started selling the product under the name Press and Peel. Again, the trend didn't catch on. A year later, they conducted an experiment where all the residents of Boise, Idaho received a sample of the product. When the residents were asked, 95% of them responded that they would buy the product again. On April 6, 1980, the product was released into stores in the U.S. as Post-it notes. A year later, the product was being sold in Europe and Canada. For almost 25 years, the product stayed the same, until 2003, when 3M came out with a new brand of Post-it Super Sticky Notes. Today, standard Post-it sticky notes have only one strip of adhesive on one side. This is one of their 2 trademarks. The second is the yellow color. The color was actually chosen on accident. During the first printing of the Post-it sticky notes, the team found a pile of yellow scrap paper by the lab door. They used this, and the yellow became tradition. Post-it notes have several competitors. However, 2 were chosen above the rest to refer and compare to: Avery brand sticky notes and Bic logo notes. Avery brand sticky notes have many bright and colorful brands, like they were colored with highlighters. They can be hard to write on because you might not be able to see what you wrote, depending on the type of ink you used. The colors of Post-it sticky notes are colorful, but hued so that the writing is readable and clear. Post-it notes have just the right shades of color so that they grab your attention and are readable. No matter what color of ink you use, you can read what's written on them. In contrast, Bic sticky notes are usually only white or light purple, which are good for writing but pretty boring. When it comes to design, Bic also uses designs like puppy dogs or balloons, which can be distracting. Post-it sticky notes are again hued just right concerning color and design on them, which are optional, including horizontal lines like those on notepaper. Now you may be asking yourself, why on earth do I need a pad of these sticky notes? What purpose do they serve me? Good question. They serve endless purposes in your everyday life. Now if I could have my lovely assistant Alicia come out, I'll demonstrate many of these benefits. The original purpose was to mark a page in a hymn book, but you may want to mark a page in your favorite book. The adhesive is designed not to leave a residue, so don't be afraid to stick a note on your favorite novel to mark your place for later. Post-it sticky notes also serve many other purposes. Let's say Alicia here wants to remind herself to do a science lab later, but she has to finish her chores, and she told her friends that she'd meet them for a movie. She would just write herself a memo saying, "Science lab due Friday." Then she'd stick it on her book, on her lampshade, on her door, in her locker, on her face, wherever she'd see it later. Now what if you wanted to remind someone else to do something? Pick up a pen and jot it down on the sticky notepad. Remove the note and stick it wherever the person will see it later. This method is pretty common in busy households where the family members really don't get a chance to see one another and remind one another of what needs done. For example, if my mother told me to remind me to call Alicia, she'd just write me a note saying call Alicia at 123-4567 and stick it somewhere where I'd see it later. The most beautiful thing about Post-it sticky notes are the fact that they can stick anywhere. or in this case, on anyone. Now you may be considering buying one of these Post-it sticky notes. And their affordability is one of the best things about these amazing little notepads. Usually Post-it sticky notes are under $10 for about 45 sheets. The price will range depending on shape, color, and size. However, they can be even more affordable than this. For a pack of 12 pads, 90 sheets per pad, you can buy on retail price of $18.74. In contrast, Bic brand sticky notes are a lot more expensive. Affordable packs of Bic brand sticky notes can be $150 to $200. Their eco-friendly pack is $545 for 25 sheets. That's $1.09 per sheet. Pretty outrageous. These sheets aren't any larger or diversely shaped either. They're the average rectangle, 3 inches by 4 inches in dimension. With Post-it brand sticky notes, design, color choice, and affordability, it's hard to find competition. However, if you consider buying anything else, consider what was said here today. Now isn't it your turn to go and buy a pack of Post-it brand sticky notes?